Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Now on KPIX 5, new efforts to help people across the state deal with mental health and substance abuse issues. Good afternoon, I'm Ryan Yamamoto. The governor in the last hour speaking about the newly signed legislation for Care Court. The new law creates a system to evaluate people who can't survive on their own or could be a threat to themselves or others. If they qualify for Care Court services, they'll get legal help as well as a care plan, which can include everything from housing to medication for the next year. San Francisco is one of 7 counties putting the program in place by October of 2023. The state's other 51 counties will follow in 2024.
It took us decades and decades to get here. It took us 5 months to change the paradigm.
The law is aimed at getting help for homeless people rather than throwing them behind bars, especially those with severe mental health or substance abuse issues. And the worst outcome for families watching a loved one suffer with substance abuse is overdose death. And right now, fentanyl is causing a surge in lives lost. CDC data shows synthetic opioids caused more than 71,000 U.S. deaths in 2021. That's a 23% jump from 2020. Aaron Christopher McGregor of San Mateo County died during a relapse. That happened 3 years ago. And KPIX 5's Kenny Choi spoke with Aaron's father about the pain he hopes other families can avoid.
Building homes has been in Paul McGregor's DNA for generations. He learned the craft from his father growing up in San Francisco. His small business has developed nearly 100 homes, but these days he chooses to work alone. The 65-year-old contractor controls each aspect of construction from foundation to roof. There's a comforting cadence to hammering and fastening each piece by piece. It's a short drive from his job site to a place where Paul and his son Aaron love to spend time together, surfing and splashing in the frigid waters off Miramar Beach. When he comes here now, he's reminded of how quickly the tides turn and how life can too.
My life will never be the same. Sucks.
It's a never-ending, gut-wrenching inner battle for a parent who wonders if there's anything he could have done differently to help a child fight the destructive, devouring demons of an opioid addiction.
This time of the year, Half Moon Bay water polo team, madman on a tube. Yeah.
And that's you and him right here?
That's right.
Fighting back tears over a life that ended too soon, Paul longs for closure. But how can a parent ever truly say goodbye? Aaron Christopher McGregor died at the age of 28 during a relapse after battling addiction and going to rehab for years.
Love you.
In California, the drug overdose death rate is more than 3 times higher than its homicide rate. Paul found his son hunched over in his room on April 23rd, 2019.
I started doing compressions for, it seemed like an eternity. Essentially, he died in my arms. And I'll never forget it. It doesn't go away. It never goes away.
Like many other families, the McGregors want prosecutors to get tougher on fentanyl dealers by pushing for more prison time and eliminating certain plea deals offering social services to avoid conviction. That's not to say parents like Paul are simply victims without regrets.
Keep an eye on them. It's really important because they can go to the dark side in a matter of days or weeks, and you won't get them back.
The dream home Paul built for his family is forever missing a piece of its foundation. Families like the McGregors are painfully still searching each day.
In the morning, and you are not there.
Countless others will soon begin that agonizing journey.
I love you, son.
Well, CDC stats do show at the end of each day in this country, 136 people lose their lives to an opioid overdose. Now to some top stories that we're following. The plea hearing for Alameda County Sheriff's Deputy Devin Williams Jr. That has been moved to October 19th. Investigators say Williams Jr. shot 2 people in a Dublin home last week, then fled the scene. He did surrender to law enforcement hours after he was accused of the double homicide. The Alameda County DA charged him with 2 counts of murder. Developing news out of Pleasanton. We're just in the last hour or so. A shelter in place has been lifted for people living in the Civic Square apartments. That's on Bernal Avenue, right next to the library and police station. And police say it all started with a domestic disturbance. That victim is safe and the suspect is now in custody. Queen Elizabeth II left Buckingham Palace one last time in a historic procession to Westminster Hall. That's where she will lie in state until her funeral on Monday. Her coffin is draped in the royal flag and topped with the crown she wore for her coronation back in 1953. As many as 1 million people are expected to wait in a miles-long line just to pay their respects. Okay, let's get to First Alert meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Temperatures are remaining below average for us today, especially up in those East Inland Hills. We're only sitting in the upper 70s this afternoon. It's a beautiful forecast to get out there, get some fresh air. Relative humidity is even a little bit higher for us today. We're seeing partly cloudy conditions stick around, and I want to show you real fast a long-range model because as we head into the weekend, we have some good news in store for us. An area of low pressure pushing its way in from the Gulf of Alaska is expected to make its way in as we extend into Sunday and Monday's forecast, potentially bringing us some rain. Now, this is a long-range model. This is our GFS right here. Things could change as we extend into the next couple days, but we're keeping a close eye on them, and we will keep you updated here in the Weather Center. Nonetheless, take a look at these temperatures. Upper 60s, lower 70s for us here in San Francisco. As we dive all the way into our microclimates, we're seeing a very similar trend. 70s and 80s in the forecast for us for the North Bay and Inland East Bay, but even along our coastline, we're sitting right at average with that rain chance appearing on Sunday and potentially Monday too.
Well, the Bay Area has been rocked by multiple earthquakes this week, with a 2.9 hitting Piedmont on Sunday and a 4.4 in Santa Rosa on Tuesday. They may not have been massive quakes, but they definitely captured people's attention. In Santa Rosa, the quake sent some bottles crashing at Campus Market and Liquor on Mendocino Avenue. Santa Rosa Fire responded to multiple reports of people stuck in elevators, fire alarms, and gas odors. Those gas leaks even ruined some people's dinner plans.
We had a reservation because it's my wife's birthday, and we walked down there and they said they had a gas leak and everyone was leaving and reservation was canceled, so we've just been wandering around and we made lemonade out of lemons.
A lot of residents in Santa Rosa were just glad this quake wasn't worse, and small earthquakes are a good time to make sure we're all prepared for larger quakes and other emergencies. And earlier today, we spoke with Jose Lara with the California Office of Emergency Services. He says the first step to being prepared is as simple as downloading an app.
The first thing you want to do is receive the alert, right? And the best way to receive an alert, an earthquake early warning, would be to download the MyShake app. The MyShake app is the first state-sponsored earthquake warning app in the country that can deliver you life-saving seconds, as we saw with the most recent earthquake.
Laura also says the best thing you could do during an earthquake is drop, cover, and hold on.